And here we go.
There's the deluge. Here's ignition.
Doubling up.
Did it just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, you know.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, it sure looks like a perfect flow.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
We did have an observation.
Equalize.
343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly!
Bingo! Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my god.
Yikes. You bet. Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Hello everyone and welcome to NSF's coverage of the Starlink 10-48 launch. Well, you know, it is another Falcon 9 launch. It is another Starlink launch out of the Cape. This is a live view of that Falcon 9 preparing for liftoff. Roughly 37 minutes past 8 at the Kennedy's at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Well, boy, quite a day. Anyways, so it's of course another Starlink, and I'm gonna be hosting. I'm Alex. It's not a lot of times that I'm hosting, so it's a weird sensation. But hey, I'm not gonna be alone, so that's a really good, nice thing. Here in the studio, I'm gonna be accompanied by Marty. Hi, Marty. How's it going?
Hello, Alex. It's going very well. There's about to be a launch, and that's always a good day. So I'm very excited to be here with you.
Yeah, right. And of course, out there in the field, we have Max Evans. Hi, Max. How's it going? I see you. You're also accompanied there.
Yes, indeed.
there with
Good
you?
morning, everybody. We just witnessed a gorgeous sunrise here at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, viewed from the Kennedy Space Center press site. And yes, I am joined by the one and only Jerry Pike off to my right, also in the field, helping out with cameras and some occasional commentary whenever he wants to jump in as well. So good morning, Jerry.
Yeah, good morning. It's an early morning here, but it's pretty, and the sunrise was pretty for about 2 minutes, and now it's going back into the clouds. But yeah, it's good to be out here this morning.
So close to each other, I can hear the other one speaking through the other one's mic. That's how close they are to each other. You can see in the video, of course, but yeah. So we have all the gear out deployed for this launch, and of course, it is a gorgeous morning. So you're talking about the sunset, the sunrise, not the sunset. Oh my God, Max, like I'm seeing those clouds out there, sort of low-level clouds, if I were to describe them. What is going on with that? Because it feels to me that maybe we will lose the rocket after liftoff from view. I don't know.
Yeah, weather certainly is taking a turn for not the better for about the next week or so here in Central Florida. With I think it's a bit of a cold front coming through ish, but it is bringing a lot of moisture and a lot of cloud cover with it. So it is going to be quite rainy here until about this coming Friday, which is quite a change of pace because we have had a relatively mild last month or so,
Hmm.
up to and including the real big cold spell that we had here. When it was still winter time. So I mean, it still technically is, only for about a week more. So we're almost, folks. We are almost out of winter here in the northern hemisphere. So good days are coming. But yeah, some rain and cloud cover are going to be in the area for a bit longer. But nonetheless, Falcon 9 is poised over at pad 40 for a launch this morning. But according to the forecast from the 45th Weather Squadron, there is only a 10% probability of a weather-related violation this morning. So, in other words, 90% go, which is not as good as it can get, but it's not far off. With the primary concerns being the thick cloud layers rule and the cumulus cloud layers rule, according to the 45th Weather Squadron themselves. In terms of the additional risk criteria also listed, the booster recovery weather is rated as low to moderate, which is eyebrow raising at worst, because we have seen Falcon 9 launch and land in such conditions. But the low to moderate rating suggests that there may be some weather in the area that may be of concern, whether it be clouds or winds out in the Atlantic. Or the wave height is a bit too excessive for what SpaceX would like to land a Falcon 9 first stage booster in. So, but weather is far from worst case scenario this morning. It is still a lovely temperature this morning. There are some clouds, but the sun has just come up, and we are finally seeing some daylight here, and the bugs are finally going back to where they came from, which is quite nice because we were having to swat off quite a few mosquitoes when Jerry and I pulled up this morning. So, but nonetheless, everything is looking good so far.
Well, hopefully, it's one of those things of because I assume you both, Max and Jerry, are going to be tracking, right? The rocket for launch. I mean,
Yeah. So
yeah.
over on pad 40, we of course have Falcon 9, and the first stage booster on the docket over at pad 40 is booster 1095, and this is only its 6th scheduled flight to date. So, a youngin in terms of the Falcon 9 first stage fleet, both here in Florida and over on the West Coast. At the Vandenberg Space Force Station. In terms of flight history, with there not being much in the way from this booster so far, it has flown. Let's see here. All Starlink missions from as it appears: 1215, 1056, 1052, 686, and 6101 before it. With the 5 previous flights, and of course the 6 today is 1048. So, nothing. It sounds rude to say there isn't anything special about this booster so far, but again, it is one of the newer boosters in the Falcon 9 fleet. Of course, having flown only 5 times to this point. So yeah, but there's really not much more to report on that front, with it being a pretty new booster. But hopefully, about 8.5 minutes downrange, it will be meeting the drone ship. Just read the instruction to station about 600 kilometers or so downrange, northeast from the Florida Space Coast, with the fairing recovery vessel Bob just behind that by maybe 100 more kilometers to scoop those fairings out of the Atlantic Ocean once they have splashed down. So really, as far as we can tell, it is business as usual for SpaceX this morning, and also with it being a Group 10 mission, they have the ability to launch either northeast or southeast. In like the past few previous Group 10 shell flights, they are choosing a northeast flight path for today. So that is what is in store for Falcon 9. And of course, it is lovely to see it flying in daylight conditions, even though we do have some clouds ruining the view. Oh my gosh, the moon! The moon is poking through the clouds here this morning with some lovely colors. Wow, distraction. Yeah, Jerry and I were just pointing at it, but yeah, it is beautiful out.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't really make it out on this wide shot here, but it's definitely there.
All right. Well, I was gonna say because I was asking about tracking the rocket, but yeah, that was a really nice rundown, and of course, I was gonna say if you two are gonna be tracking, I'm sure Carson, our producer, will be fighting to see who's got the best tracking for today with the clouds. I hope you two have a nice competition to see
I
who
think
doesn't miss the rocket.
I mean, if the cloud layer keeps doing what it's doing right now, I think we're going to lose it, unfortunately, after about between 20 and 30 seconds, unfortunately, unless we see a hole open up in the cloud layer and track it a bit farther. But I don't think we are going to have a full track today. But weirder things
Well, you
have
never know.
happened. You never know. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Weirder things have happened, and the weather appears to be pretty fair this morning up until about 1 o'clock with cloud cover at least. So we have already seen a lot more sun than I thought we were going to this morning, and hopefully that is a good omen for what is to come in just about 50 minutes time.
Well, folks, the whole thing that I was trying to do was a bit. Because here at NSF we're like, oh, the producer, he hasn't mentioned the producer and things like that. I was trying to sort of do like a low roll so that anyways, yeah. Look, if you have any questions, tag at NASA Spaceflight in chat or at NSF and we'll answer your questions as usual, of course. That's also much more healthy bit, I guess, for us to do on live streams. In any case, Marty, I have a question for you because there's still no questions yet on the panel, but I'll wait for
Bring it
that.
on.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm gonna ask you a question because this booster is quite young, and one of the things that I was thinking about is like this is just its 6th flight, but it hasn't launched any single customer mission, right?
It hasn't. No, as Max already said, it has only launched Starlink missions for now. So to be very precise, that will be group 1215, 1056, 1052, 686, and 6101. And now it's going to add 1048. So it has launched missions for multiple groups, but no other payloads and Starlink missions just yet. But yeah, unlike at the start of Falcon 9's recovery program, back then they only launched customer missions on early flights. We've now seen them launch customer missions on very experienced boosters. So there's always a chance that they might decide to put some customer payload or something else onto this rocket much later in its life. But I guess we'll just have to see. There's also a chance that they might just keep this booster for themselves and for Starlink missions. But that, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens next for this booster.
Yeah, and I also have another interesting fact, if you will, about this booster, because it's not just that it only launched Starlink, and of course this is another Starlink launch as well. It's that every single recovery of this booster has been on Just Read the Instructions, and today's mission is also on Just Read the Instructions. Like, what are the odds that 6 launches in a row, it's all Starlinks and it's all Just Read the Instructions, that single drone ship always be in the landing location for this booster? And so yeah, it's quite interesting that that's
like to
all
think
they've
that this-
been able to. What?
Sorry for talking off you. I would just wanted to joke. I like to think that this one is this booster is just very picky, and SpaceX has been trying to get it to launch other missions and land on a shortfall of gravitas, and then the booster's like, no, I'm not doing that. Just read instructions and a Starlink mission. That's all I can do.
It's probably tired of looking at the instructions. It's like, okay, I already know them. Can I land on a shortfall of gravitas, which is the one that we were seeing earlier, of course. But it just feels funny, right? I don't think there's any
Absolutely.
other booster that's flown and landed like on the same drone ship this many times in a row, and especially like at the start of its life, because I mean 5 flights, and this has been the 6th for it. It's like not really that many flights compared to some of the other ones that we've seen already, right? Anyways, so yeah, I'm already grabbing some of your questions in chat. Remember, like at NSF, at NASA Spaceflight, all the usual things. For example, Sad Usmani right here already asking about boosters, for example. Asking, what's the highest flight number a Falcon 9 has flown with for a crewed mission? That's a really interesting question. Does anybody know?
I think it's 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken. I think Alex, you might know. I think NASA has a cap on how many flights that they will allow a booster to have had prior to a crew mission, and I think that cap is 5. I don't have the numbers in front of me specifically. That is a really good question that I don't think we have gotten before. I want to say it's around 5, if not 5 itself. If anybody has more info on that, please feel free to step in.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say that there's other crew missions other than just NASA as well. I believe the record would have been either from Inspiration 4 or one of the Polaris missions had the highest flight count at the time of launch.
Close.
I'm thinking it's like 6 or 8 or somewhere in that neighborhood, I believe.
You're on the right track.
Or
It's
Axiom or
two.
From or one of those. There's a couple of those commercial
Yeah.
crew, not commercial, but the non-NASA crew missions.
Yep, it's as far as I'm looking at here at my data, it should be from 2 on B1085 on its 6th flight. Because there's a few on the 5th flight. Axiom 3, for example, was on a 5th flight on B1080. But yeah, as far as I'm, yeah, if I have not missed any other, it's from 2 on the 6th flight of B1085. So 10 boosters before this one, because this one is B1095, of course. But yeah, like this is one of those things as well. It's gonna be really interesting when we see, because at some point it's gonna happen, right? Where we're gonna see some crewed missions like from 2 and things like that are gonna be on boosters like past its 10th flight and things like that. And I feel like that's probably not that far out.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, especially with how few Falcon 9 first stage boosters are produced in comparison to how they fly. Granted, I don't believe there are any privately scheduled Crew Dragon missions on the launch. I can't say the word, or just the launch schedule this year. I believe besides NASA Crew. And the next one I believe is Axiom 5, scheduled for Q1 of next year. So. But again, Dragon itself isn't something that flies very often either, and flies. I think it'll fly at most 5 times this year between 2 cargo and 2 crew. So yeah, it isn't a spacecraft that flies often, but when it does, NASA likes to have as much. And NASA at least likes to have as much margin of safety as possible when it comes to the safety of their crew. They used to. They used to require a brand new booster to be used, but they have since sided towards the fact of having the booster fly once before to gather further data on that booster itself to ensure that it is ready to fly and safe to fly. So I think Jerry has his finger on the button. I think he has more to add. Oh, he's not. He's shaking his head. He doesn't. Okay. But at some point it may make sense too, but also keep in mind that that Falcon 9 isn't in SpaceX's long-term vision, so they may or may not be pursuing an avenue where having a booster fly more than like 7, 8, 9, 10 times flying crew is even in the realm of a possibility, just given the demand or lack thereof for Dragon itself, because of course they want to shift their priorities over to Starship and having that crew rated as soon as possible. But again, we'll have to wait and see. There's at least one more Axiom mission coming up, and there might be other privately funded missions in the future for Dragon. But SpaceX wants to phase out Dragon as fast as possible, so I'm not sure if that's coming or what's even next for that point.
Yeah, that's one of those things as well, that it's like there are not a lot of crew missions left probably for Falcon 9 yet, right? But also at the same time, I'm really wondering with the commercial stations, and things like that. I don't know, like maybe that'll get more life to it. We'll see, definitely. We already have even one question along those lines of like, John here, Triple John, I guess I could call it. When do you think Falcon 9 will retire in favor of Starship? Because we've seen these Starlink launches, and it does make sense to sort of wonder, when are they stopping these on Falcon 9, right? Because Starship, it's like maybe like, I don't know, 3-4 flights down the line, 3 or 4 successful flights essentially from starting deployment of Starlinks, right? Like, are they gonna just outright stop all Starlink launches on Falcon 9, or it's going to be some kind of like overlap and then, yoink.
Yoink. I'm curious to hear what Marty has to say on this as well, but
Yeah.
I guess to preface that, it's going to be at least 10 years before we see Falcon 9 retire at the earliest, because there's going to be an overlap in between programs, whether it be in phasing out payloads from a Falcon 9 onto Starship to make once Starship is commercially viable, and certified, not just for commercial, but also for crew as well at that point. So yeah, I think it'll be at least 10 years because for what SpaceX needs to launch right now, and especially with the current Starlink V2 Mini constellation demands, there is a lot more left to go there. Starship can only fly the Starlink version 3 satellites, which are much bigger than what are currently being used on Falcon 9 with the version 2 minis. So version 3 will eventually, I believe, phase out version 2 or the version 2 minis, rather, I guess is their full name. But that again, that is years in, years out, considering there will be tens of thousands of satellites in the cadence or in the overall constellation once it is fully operational. Not to mention the demand to replace satellites that have either aged out or have had some sort of failure and then re-entered. So there's still a lot more demand to come just on that front, let alone whatever customers may come for Starship in the meantime. That could have otherwise flown a Falcon 9 or Falcon Heavy, but I'm curious to hear what Marty has to say on that front.
Well, I think I mostly agree with you, but we also know that SpaceX wants nothing more than to launch Starlink missions on Starship. Like, the V2 minis are called mini because they were originally planning to launch V2 on Starship, and then Starship wasn't ready. So, and in the past, they've also tried to push really for getting Starship ready, just so they can launch Starlink missions and get all this stuff into the air, into space quicker. So yeah, I think that the moment Starship becomes available, they will switch to Starlink missions to Starship as soon as possible, and as soon as they can ramp up the cadence of Starship launches to support the constellation. But there might be some overlap, and because they already have a lot of Starlink V2 mini satellites ready to go. It's not like they're churning them out of the factory and then loading them onto the rocket and launch them immediately, or at least I don't think it is. So they've got this production line going on, so there probably will be some overlap. But I think their goal is to reduce that overlap as much as possible. But then after that, I believe that they will be launching Falcon 9s for a very, very, very long time. It's one of the most reliable launch vehicles we've had ever, and customers like that. So there will be a demand, even if SpaceX desperately wants to switch all their launches to Starship. There will be a demand for Falcon 9 for a very long time, and they will have to convince the market that Starship is a good replacement.
Well, hopefully they use this booster then for customer missions. Once they no longer have any Starlinks to launch a Falcon 9, maybe they use this one. In any case,
We'll have to do something.
I guess that's for sure. So we are about 37 minutes away from launch if everything is still on track. Marty, where are we? Because it feels to me that something should happen soon with the timeline.
Yeah. Well, something should have happened just a minute ago, because the launch director should have verified go for propellant load. And then, if they did, and I hope they did, then they will be preparing to start that process. So at T minus 35 minutes, in just over 2 minutes from now, just under 2 minutes, apologies, then they will start loading RP1, so the kerosene and liquid oxygen, onto stage 1, and they will also start loading kerosene onto stage 2. And then later they will start preparations for loading liquid oxygen onto stage 2. And for that, we know this very, very official sign known as the T minus 20 minute vent, which is a sign of them starting to cool down the lines in the transporter erect to prepare it for this liquid oxygen to start flowing. At T minus 16 minutes, they will start actually loading stage 2 with liquid oxygen. And then some minutes later, at T minus 7 minutes, Falcon 9 will begin engine chill. Just like the lines on the transporter reactor, they also need to prepare the engines for the flow of the cold propellants. So that will start at T minus 7 minutes. Then 2 minutes later, the strong back will retract. First, the clamps will open up, and then the strong back will retract for a few degrees. At T minus 3 minutes and 10 seconds, liquid oxygen load will complete on the first stage. A minute after that on the second stage, and then at T minus 1 minute, Falcon 9 will be in startup, and that means that the onboard computers will have taken over control of the rocket and the launch sequence. At T minus 45 minutes, the launch director will verify go for launch, and if all goes well, at T minus 3 seconds, did I say T minus 45 minutes? I meant T minus 45 seconds, of course. Launch director will verify go for launch, and then at T minus 3 seconds, the engines will ignite, and Falcon 9 will leap off the pad to bring this batch of Starlinks into orbit.
Well, hopefully we see that. Hopefully in 34 minutes and 45 seconds. One of the usual things that happens is that nowadays we don't have like access to their internal polls and everything, like the comms net and things like that. So the only way to figure out when they are actually loading propellant on this rocket, which should already be underway if everything is on track, right? But we don't have X-ray vision, but we do have frost that appears on the booster about 3 or 4 minutes after propellant load starts. So that should appear here in about 2 minutes or so on the booster. Thanks for the zoom, by the way, Carson. And so we've got there our views already, focused on that booster and seeing if we can see that frost. So far, no indication of otherwise. So let's keep a look on that. Anyways, in the meantime, I'm going to be answering some more of your questions. I know I have a certain piece of support in our queue. I see you, Ryan. But I'm going to hit more questions because support a little bit later. There are especially 2 different questions about Falcon Heavy, which are really interesting to me to answer. One of them, I'm going to throw it to Max because I know he's going to be really excited for this. When is the next Falcon Heavy mission? Because do we have anything on that?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Falcon Heavy fly from these parts, hasn't it? And that being October of 2024 with the launch of the Europa Clipper, just like literally a day after Starship Flight 5. It's a rare beast to see fly nowadays. I mean, it's flown 10 or 11 times total now, I believe, since it first launched in 2018, which is kind of scary to think about. That was 8 years ago. Blimey. And Starship has flown. I think Starship has flown. Wait, Carson, keep scrolling. It's flown how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hang on.
No, that's future missions.
Oh, that's future missions. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say
go.
it's. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep going. 10, 11. Okay, wow. Okay, so it has flown exactly the same number of times as Starship has to this point, which is kind of scary. Again, considering since Falcon Heavy made its debut flight way back in 2018, 8 years ago, and Starship flew for the first time back in April of 2023. Granted, the objectives of each program have been much different. But the upcoming I almost said Starship. The upcoming Falcon Heavy mission is for the Viasat 3 Flight 3 communication satellite mission, scheduled to launch from LC-39A no earlier than April, that is the latest notice that we have. And April is, of course, next month, so it's coming up rather quick. So as things are stacking up now, April could be a very busy month. In terms of really, really big, heavy rockets that fly not just from Florida, but also from South Texas as well. But it's so between Artemis 2, New Glenn Flight 3, Starship Flight 12, and then Falcon Heavy, I think Falcon Heavy is certainly up there in terms of ones that we are most excited for because, again, we don't see it fly very often at all anymore. And the more relevant Starship becomes in the market in the next couple of years, the less relevant Falcon Heavy will become. It of course still has its contracts with the U.S. Space Force and with the NSSL Phase 3. Is it, Alex?
And
Phase
2,
3?
yeah, both.
Yeah. So it's still
3, yeah.
So make no mistake, and also between the launch of the Roman Space Telescope and Griffin Mission 1, there is still a lot of life left in that rocket itself. So it's not leaving anytime soon. But again, it doesn't fly nearly as often as we would like it to. But we actually, changing topics here for a second, Alex. I believe we now have
Frost.
frost on the bottom of the first stage LOX tank.
Yeah, there you go. So we have their visible frost on the booster, confirming that propellant is underway. That propellant loading is now underway. And that means we are just 30 minutes, 20 seconds away from liftoff. Of course, right, that there's no H word or S word, right? Although I guess, yeah, it will be the same because at the end of the day, when they hold, okay, I'm gonna say it, when they hold, it's also an S word. Anyways,
I don't think saying hold holds the same
okay.
negative energy as saying the S word. So I think saying hold is fine.
Jerry is already blaming me in the back channel, though. Just saying.
He would
He
do
just
that.
typed, "I'm blaming
That's such a
Alex."
Jerry thing to do.
Just saying. He's blaming me. So yeah, I'm gonna refrain from saying it again. Anyways, yeah, one of the things I was gonna mention about this Falcon Heavy stuff, it's crazy that Starship might have its 12th flight before Falcon Heavy. I know, it's
Yeah.
like different launching and everything. Like if Falcon Heavy only launched test flights and
Right.
it didn't have to wait on customer missions and whatnot, then of course it would probably have launched many more times. But still, it's quite interesting. And also you mentioned Nancy Grace Roman, and I know Marty probably smiled at that.
I did.
Yeah. I'm also excited for that one. Science missions, really cool, and also that one in particular, big telescope. That's a good one. Also, Dragonfly as well on Falcon Heavy.
Falcon Heavy has gotten a lot of
Yeah.
NASA science missions between first I think it was Psyche, then we had
Europa
Clipper,
Clipper.
and then we got the Roman Space Telescope coming up.
Yeah.
And others down the line. Like it's a NASA science mission rocket at this point, besides a few commercial customers, which is kind of refreshing to see. And also all the more special because with it being a NASA mission, that means that coverage of the mission will be as good as it can be in terms of access for us media, and also just for live stream coverage and information on the vehicle and the payload itself. So it's always very special.
Yeah, and wait, what are we showing here?
What is
Hang on.
this? Oh my God! Is it a time
Did you pull
lapse?
a time lapse?
Did you record this locally, or was this Carson, Jerry?
This is all Carson here. I did none of this.
Yeah, this looks like he pulled a time lapse from the camera.
How rude for not telling us, Carson.
And you can see both of you pointing at the sun when it comes out of the clouds. That was
How dare
fun.
you!
Anyways, there was another Falcon Heavy related question here, because so far it's only launched from the East Coast, and there's supposed to be a second West Coast launch pad for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, right? At Space Launch Complex 6.
Maybe.
So we were asked by Gabriel, like, when do you think will be the first Falcon Heavy launch from Vandenberg? Will we see that happening? It feels like it's coming too late, at least to me. I don't know. Max, Marty, who wants to go first?
I really want to see it happen because that pad, Slick 6, is a beautiful pad. It was used by Delta 4, and originally built for the space shuttle. But yeah, like you're saying, there are no Falcon Heavy missions from Vandenberg on the manifest, and indeed, it might be coming just a bit too late. So, as much as I wish to see that launch happen, I'm not sure we will, but maybe we'll be surprised. Max, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna steal Carson's joke here in that if it's ever launching from Vandenberg, we might not see it at all. The weather over there, but at risk of sounding too much like a pessimist, my answer I think is going to be never. But kind of agreeing with what Marty was saying, it's definitely feels a little bit too late in the life cycle of Falcon Heavy with Starship coming around the corner. in its development phase, and being able to take over some of these, high energy missions that are required with Falcon Heavy that aren't currently contracted out already through the Space Force or through NASA or whatnot for commercial missions or science missions. And I think a lot of these further contracts that would require something like a Falcon Heavy are probably going to get shifted over to Starship in the near future before anything gets done at Vandenberg, and I don't see the need for SpaceX to invest in another pad for Falcon Heavy there when it flies already so infrequently here from the East Coast. It just doesn't seem economically viable, of a solution to put over there.
I think also on that front that they can here on the east coast of Florida, they can do almost everything that they can do in Vandenberg apart from going retrograde or going against the Earth's rotation or launching west. They can launch northeast here up to about 53 or 55 degrees, I believe, and then anywhere from also geostationary heading straight out east. And they can also fly polar here as well if they can dogleg around the east coast of Florida over Miami or to the left of Miami or the east of Miami to avoid Cuba as well, or fly over Cuba with as little risk as possible as well. So they can do a lot here in Florida, and especially from Pad A, from 2 launched polar from LC 39A as well. There have also been a handful of other missions as well. So they can do a lot here, and it would have to be a very special request to conduct a launch of or to I guess warrant building up all of the required hardware at Vandenberg at Slick 6 to support Falcon Heavy if it was only going to fly once or twice. But then again, the U.S. DoD or Department of Defense and Air Force, Space Force have very deep pockets, and they can do almost anything that they please in terms of what they want to fly. So they can build anything that they want, but in terms of where they want it to go, they can do just about everything from Florida. So it doesn't make a ton of sense, as much as that breaks my heart to say, because it would be an absolutely badass thing to see Falcon Heavy fly from Slick 6, because it is a gorgeous pad.
As Chad has already mentioned, you probably will not see it though because of the fog.
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
would like to add one thing, if that's allowed, Alex.
it's totally allowed. Of course,
Cool.
Marty.
No,
Yeah,
forbidden.
no, I was thinking we're kind of lamenting the fact that Falcon Heavy isn't flying that much, and I would argue that's probably a good thing. I know we love
Oh.
this big vehicle and we love to see it launch, but one of the main reasons why they're not launching it as much as we originally expected is because Falcon 9 is so much more performant than they originally planned it to be. So many missions have switched from Falcon Heavy to Falcon 9 just because they can do it with Falcon 9. And
That's spicy.
I love to see Falcon Heavy fly. It's one of my favorite rockets. But the fact that they've been able to iterate on Falcon 9 and improve that rocket so much shows how good this vehicle is. So in that way, it's kind of a good thing. But I know that's very controversial, and I don't like saying that myself either.
Like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all, but there are still some missions and some payload classes that Falcon 9 just cannot launch. Like, there's no way, in any way, shape, or form, that Falcon 9 could have launched the Europa Clipper at all. At least
Absolutely, totally.
Yeah, but I mean, there is still a class of payload that only Falcon Heavy can fly right now. But you are right. Falcon 9 itself has become an absolute beast in terms of how wide of a spread of performance that it can provide for a number of customers. So whether it be recovered either via RTLS or a drone ship recovery or just being tossed away completely. Yeah, Falcon 9, you're not wrong, Marty. It has become an absolute beast.
Yeah, that's one of the things as well that it's changed, right? With Falcon 9. We saw the other day a rather heavy GTO mission, right? Like the EchoStar 25 mission going on Falcon 9 on a more normal, because this is another thing as well. Like that satellite in particular was sent to a less optimal geostationary transfer orbit, right? Like if every single customer, every single ComSat that they launched to GTO were to want to launch to a standard GTO, they will have to launch on Falcon Heavy essentially, because these satellites are getting heavier and heavier. Falcon 9 will not be able to do that, right? Or they will have to launch expendable, and then they will have to waste even more Falcon 9 boosters and things like that. But we don't see that. What we see is they are happy with just being launched to slightly lower orbit and do the rest of the work on their own. But speaking of rest of the work, we are already seeing there that T-minus 20-minute vent. Marty, what does this mean? Because I don't know. I'm totally. I have amnesia right now.
Well, so far they've been only been launching kerosene on both stages and liquid oxygen only on the first stage. And the second stage also needs liquid oxygen. Surprise, surprise. So they're now getting ready for that. Essentially what they're doing is they're flowing liquid oxygen through the lines that are going up to the second stage, just to cool them down and prepare them for the full flow of the oxygen load. And when they're ready and when they're actually starting to launch the stage, we will see this vent stop. And yeah, that's the moment that when they actually load the stage, and that is at T-minus 16 minutes. So in just a few minutes from now. Yeah, that's what we're seeing essentially. They're preparing the lines and flowing liquid oxygen out there, and because it's so cold, the moisture in the air immediately freezes, which results in this nice cloud coming from the rocket or actually the transporter erector.
Yeah, and it's a nice indicator, right, that at least things are going on track. Because if it happens at the usual time, right, it's always basically like within a second or two of that T-minus 20 minutes and 20 seconds mark, right? So if it happens around that time, then that means first that everything is on track, and second that our T0 clock, it's also going well. The one on the top left.
It's one of the most visual cues in the entire launch countdown, aside from the frost building up on the rocket. So
that's true.
It's very nice. We all love it.
Yeah, I mentioned the thing of like the top left, the T0 clock that we have, because back in the day when the T0s were not publicized by SpaceX like to the second, we had to guess it sometimes. I remember those times, good old times. Anyways, Max, I have a piece of support here for you. I don't know if you want to read it. It's from certain Ghost Rider 117. I don't know who could this be.
I have no idea who that could be.
Says sincerely Ryan. I think that's our Ryan Weber. I don't know why he super chatted this. I was completely out yesterday. Apparently, it's something related to yesterday.
Yeah, myself, Sawyer, EJ, and Ryan all had a very fun night last night, playing some Battlefield 6 over on Twitch and YouTube over on EJ's side. Very fun night, but whenever I would be downed, I'd be like, "Help! Help! Help!" just like repeatedly, like to the point that Ryan would be like yelling and screaming and just furious. It was genuinely like one of the most hilarious things. And I've gone back to rewatch some of the clips, and it's even funnier now in retrospect. But yes, help, help, help! Like that's literally that's all that it was.
Is there a recording of any of that? I want to see it.
It's on EJ's channel, but mind you, it's 5 hours long, so pick and choose.
Oof, I can probably watch it. Well,
it is quite fun. It is a very fun watch. It's all over on EJ's channel and also over on Twitch as well.
Yeah, this is what happens after the flame trench, by the way. Like every single time there's some crazy stuff going on afterwards. So yeah. Anyway, I have a few pieces of like old support here as well. People like upgrading to Capcom from Kenshaw here, Jorik, Huskan, I think, Capcom as well. Those two people are now able to get into the Discord server as well. Brandon Roberts becoming a Padrat member, and then Poly 9889 I guess also Padran member. So there you go. Now part of the membership program, and you'll be able to. I feel like the latest things that we have uploaded to members are pictures of the rollout of the 2 Starship tower segments yesterday by Jerry. So there you go. You'll be able to see some of those. In any case, one question that is hugely related to this launch, of course, is from Space KB17. Will I be able to see anything from this launch from Punta Cana? Methinks probably not. Marty, where is this launch headed to?
Oh, sorry, talking while muted. It's heading northeast. So I forgot I don't have a map open, and I forgot where the place you mentioned is. So you'll
Dominican
have to do your
Republic.
own geography for there. Oh, okay. Then no, I think there's no chance you'll see this. This is going the wrong way for that.
Yeah. Unfortunately for you, Space KB, they have moved now to northeast launches, which tends to happen around the springtime and sort of goes through the entire summer. For southeast launches, we will probably have to wait until the fall. So think about October, November, probably for anything like that. But
They only
it's how it goes.
They only start
But-
doing that when the recovery weather in the North Atlantic is too bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The opposite happens for the people up north on the east coast of the United States, because they always ask us, oh, is this gonna be going northeast? And if it's during fall or winter, it's like, I'm sorry, it's not. It's going southeast. Now it's the opposite, right? Now it's somebody that's living to the southeast of the launch site. It's like, I'm sorry, it's going northeast. You have your time. Don't worry. That's for sure. And in fact, I think you might see part of the Starship flight in any case, especially if it happens like the previous missions. We don't know when during the day it's going to happen, right? But if it happens sort of around the sunset time, just like the past few missions, ever since I think Flight 6, if I'm not mistaken, then you might even have like some kind of jellyfish effect or something like that. That for down range, I don't know, but it's possible, probably. I will look at the very least. And yeah, so we have more questions about Falcon Heavy because we talked about it, and for example, N8 HSU. Oh my god, these names from YouTube. I really wish they would bring back the nicknames. Could a Falcon Heavy launch a Crew Dragon to translunar injection? And I know this was originally a proposal for this, but Max, like, do you think that they will ever do such a thing?
Well, simply yes, it very much can. That falls well into the margins of performance that Falcon Heavy can do with the addition of 2 more Falcon 9 boosters attached to the center core. There was originally a plan a long time ago to send a dragon to the moon called Gray Dragon, but that has since faded into oblivion and is no longer a part of the manifest in any way, shape, or form. That's not to say that Falcon Heavy may never launch a Dragon of any sort. It may have to launch the Dragon deorbit vehicle given its size and weight. We're still unsure of that entirely, honestly. That's all speculation. But in terms of sending a Dragon to the moon, I don't think that is going to happen, as cool as that would freaking be. But that is a long time to spend in a spacecraft like Dragon. But when mind you, it is currently set up to only last for about 5 days, which is really on the edge of what you can do with a TLI on a free return trajectory, which is what they're going to be doing for Artemis 2, mind you. So yeah, Dragon can only support about 5 days in orbit before you run into issues with oxygen and water on board the vehicle being fresh and usable. Because of course, humans being biological machines, we go through stuff like that rather quickly. So, possible, yes. Likely, really don't think so, unfortunately.
Yeah. And one of the things as well that is sort of a problem to be able to come back from translunar injection with a crew, because one thing is a Falcon Heavy sort of being able to throw out that dragon all the way out to translunar injection, right? But a whole different thing is for that dragon to come back.
Yep.
And
Come back faster.
It's not that easy, right? Because you will have to make a rather sturdy thermal protection system. That heat shield will have to support those faster re-entry speeds rather than the ones from Leo, right? And so it feels to me that it will be something that you will need some kind of way of increasing the amount of TPS on that vehicle, right? And so I don't know,
Yep.
maybe we could be helped out a little. Okay.
Oh my
Well,
God.
but maybe not that.
Oh
'Cause
my
that's a
God.
sun shirt, Carson. I don't know, like that's a TPS one, but it's not supposed to protect you directly during reentry. But hey, it might protect you if you are out there on the sun, not like now because there's clouds out there at the Space Coast. But you know, when the clouds clear, you can probably be protected with one of these. It even has the the red glue on one of the tiles I see there. Is this like a literal picture of the Starship TPS? Because
I
it
think
does look
yes,
like that.
Alex. I think this is actually one of my photos from ship 38's
Oh, hey, it's
last
got it on the.
flight on flight 11 when it was rolling out. Yeah, so we had a really good chance to get some high res photos of the heat shield. And the shop team has done wonders in having it printed and onto a shirt of this size. It looks really good. I have one on the way to me as well, so I'm curious to see how it looks now. But we've already seen some photos of Caesar wearing it, and it does look pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. So oh my God, I'm excited about it for sure. And hopefully it gets in soon. I'm looking at you, Lindsay. Cough, cough. Cough, cough. It's not here yet. Cough, cough. Love you, Lindsay. Thank you. Just kidding. I'm just pulling your leg. I promise.
Yeah. In any case, I have a question here about reusability for Falcon 9, but not the kind that you want that you're probably thinking. After fairing separation, where do those rocket pieces that don't return to Earth go? I'm not sure if this is asking about where do the fairing halves go, because they're definitely returning to Earth. But maybe Marty can you briefly explain what they do with the fairings after separation?
Well, after separation, like the rocket consists of several parts. There's the first stage, they recover that. We've seen that so many times. There's the second stage, and there's the fairings. And the fairings separate after stage separation. I don't know why I'm suddenly doubting that, but they do. And then they usually return to Earth, where they will be fished out of the ocean by one of the fairing recovery ships. So the fairings are recovered, and most of the times they do fly Falcon 9 launches with reused fairings nowadays. But there are some parts that won't be reused, and the biggest one is the second stage. And that can go either of two ways. It can do a deorbit burn and then re-enter somewhere else. I believe for this launch, it's going to re-enter in the southern Indian Ocean. But sometimes if it has to go to a very high orbit, then it cannot really do that because there's no performance left in the second stage. So then they will park it in an orbit where it's safe and where it shouldn't be in the way of any other satellites. So essentially it will either go back to re-enter or to one of these so-called graveyard orbits. So I hope that answers the questions about the rocket pieces that don't return to Earth, because most launches, the rocket pieces will return to Earth, but some launches, not all of them will.
Yeah. In the case of the second stage, as you said, right, for this mission in particular, for Starlink, they do come back, right, because they have plenty of performance after this. It's low Earth orbit. It takes basically nothing to return, right? to just deorbit and dump it out there to an uninhabited area, essentially uninhabited area. Excuse me. So that obviously saves everything. Anyways, so we are less than 6 minutes away from launch. So I will have to bid goodbye to Jerry and Max so that they can focus on tracking. You two have a good fight on who loses the rocket the latest.
Well, hopefully we will both
It's a
have it
bit
for
more
a
clear
while.
now.
A little bit, but there's still some clouds in the area and
I see
enough
some
to
blue
maybe
sky.
spoil the view. Yeah, but we'll find out. I mean, there's only one way to find out. Hopefully in about 5.5 minutes time. But it is indeed that time, y'all. So thank you very much, and we will see y'all on the other side.
Yeah. Hopefully you have a lot more luck. Tracking that rocket. As you can see, folks, it's a bit cloudy out there, so we don't know how long we'll be able to see. But of course, we're gonna try at least to keep it on in view for as long as we can. There they go to prepare for the tracking. In any case, so we are now under 5 minutes. We're probably going to stop now with the questions because we're getting now to the final parts. So, Marty, what's coming up next? Like the next couple of minutes, what should we be expecting?
Yeah, so right now the strong back should be retracting. So that is the structure that has hauled the rocket out to the launch pad and has been holding it up. But so close to launch, they will open up the clamps and start retracting it ever so slightly, just in preparation of the final countdown. Then at T minus 3 and 10 minutes, which is in a minute from now, the liquid oxygen load on stage 1 will complete. A minute after that, liquid oxygen load on stage 2 will complete, and at T minus 1 minute, Falcon 9 will go into startup, which is the point where the onboard computers will take over the launch control sequence, and they will prepare the rocket for flight. Then at T minus 45 seconds, this time, the launch director verifies go for launch, and we should get that confirmed usually before T minus 30 seconds, I believe. And then they will continue all the way to liftoff. But just before liftoff, of course, at T minus 3 seconds, the engines on the first stage will ignite, so they can, actually lift off, because there's no way this vehicle is going anywhere if it doesn't ignite its engines. So that's what we should be seeing.
Mm-hmm. So we should be now then approaching that moment of when stage 1 liquid oxygen load is complete. You gotta think about this, right? Because it's like they have 4 main tanks, 2 on the first stage, 2 on the second stage. You load the RP1 on both stages, then you have to wrap up the liquid oxygen load on the first stage, then on the second stage, and so those things sort of take time.
I believe that was the call out that load was complete on stage 1.
So but that's great news.
It's a very coordinated and choreographed process to get all these tanks filled up in time, and they managed to do it in just over half an hour, which is very impressive in my opinion.
Ooh, look at that view.
That's a good view. And you can see here that the clamps on the strong back have opened up to make the rocket freestanding.
I'm trying to also make out the... Yeah, I was also trying to make out the numbers on the fairings as well, to know their serial numbers.
We don't always know them, so it's nice to have a look and try to figure out which ones are flying right now.
Especially when the clamps open, as you were mentioning. Go ahead, Marty.
I wanted to say that the strong back is still very close to the rocket right now, but just in the final second before liftoff, it will swing back and get out of the way.
Stage 2 lock float is complete.
There we go.
So complete on stage 2.
Indeed. So we have now a fully loaded Falcon 9. Now we should see those preparations as they push back those fluids from the strong back. So if you see venting, that's normal. There you can see that venting now coming up on the strong back. We will probably hear the gas closeout call as well. And another thing as well to mention, there it is. So today is Pi Day, so this is going to be Starlink 1048 on 314, I guess.
And also special
Let's-
about Pi Day is it's the birthday of Albert Einstein and the ooh,
Let's see.
so yeah.
Should be coming up on startup.
Falcon 9 has entered startup.
There we go. So that means Falcon 9 is now in control of the countdown, doing lots and lots of automated checks of its systems
LD, go for
in
launch.
preparation for launch. And there we go. We have now the go for launch from the launch director. We are just 31 seconds away from liftoff. Remember, this is going to the northeast, B1095 on its 6th flight, launching 29 Starlink V2 mini satellites into low Earth orbit. Standing by, we should see first the plume from the engine ignition and then the liftoff. We'll see that Stromback pulling away as the rocket clears the towers. 5 seconds. There we have ignition and liftoff on Pi Day of Starlink 1048. Well, while it was very cloudy from the ground angle, look at that view from the booster. Okay, that's I can live with those clouds if at least we get these views of a really great ascent of Falcon 9 as it heads up into orbit. Look at that. That's so cool.
That's looking
The
pretty
blue.
good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I love this view.
I mean,
Anyway.
the clouds might be annoying, but at least we're getting onboard views and they're very pretty.
Exactly. We're getting cool views from the onboard cameras, which is at least a really nice consolation prize, I guess. We're now past 2
Sure.
minutes into flight. Should be approaching MECO. That's when all 9 Merlin engines on the first stage shut down. And then the 2 stages will separate and the MVAC engine on the second stage will ignite. There we have MECO. There's stage separation, and there we go. MVAC startup. Always nice when it goes well. Really, a rather clean interstage compared to some of the ones that we've seen in the past.
Yeah. But this is exactly how it should be going, and that's very good.
Yep. Should see now fairing separation. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so we're not seeing the actual fairings, but at least now they're flying by.
Yeah. Well, you could see it in the reflection in the foil thermal protection material.
Yep.
I could see a dark spot for just a second there.
Looks like they may have lost a bit of the connection to the first stage. That's why they're showing the map view. Yeah, these broadcasts are usually automated. Like the views are usually the same when you compared to previous other coverages and things like that of what they show and whatnot. So when they lose contact or like a video signal from one of them, they probably switch to one of these automatically. But yeah, right now, 4 minutes into flight, if you look at the telemetry there on screen, first stage is still on its sort of arch. You can see the arch there on the map, I guess, and should be coming up on entry burn in about 2 minutes from now.
I love how you can literally see the second stage pushing its trajectory up and out of the Earth on that view. I'd rather see the first stage camera footage, but this is a good alternative because it does show the process of launching a rocket very nicely, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. One of the things of that map is that sometimes you can actually see there when they show it how it's changing its own trajectory and its sort of downrange motion, I guess, when it's moving, sort of burning that engine and sort of getting out there. Yeah, it's a pity that they don't have connection with a first stage. Maybe once it's closer to the ground, we'll have something from the drone ship. Oh, there we go. Interstage
There it
camera. So maybe it's not a connection, but rather the camera itself. That will be funny.
Could be. But as we can see, it's still there. It's still going. So
Someone should go out there and plug it back in.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, the first stage camera, the one looking down, it seems like it's not working because
Oh,
it's not sending any video. Yeah.
Oh,
The booster is sending telemetry because we can see there the numbers changing, of course. And we saw the interstage camera, so it's clearly just the camera itself not sending video.
Those pesky onboard cameras.
Max, go out there and plug it back in. Come on.
I'll be right back, Alex. I'll try that real quick.
Yeah, go fix it.
On the way.
Yeah. And to be fair, the booster does not use Starlink, by the way. Any Starlink antennas.
We should be in entry burn
There we go.
right now.
Entry burn. Yeah. Because I'm already seeing some comments. Starship does use Starlink antennas, both
It does.
on boosters and ships. The only Starlink antennas that you will see on a Falcon 9 are on the second stage and are used after deployment. But yeah. So it's not easy. I guess here again to point out, like, we can see the telemetry. We were able to see the interstage camera view. So obviously they're getting the signal. It's just that unfortunately that camera might have died, I guess. RIP.
well,
not
I'm
having a
sure
good day.
they will replace it for the next flight.
Hopefully.
Poor
Hopefully.
booster
Yeah.
maintenance person.
Now someone has to go out there and put on a new camera.
Yeah. Somebody asking what was the blue line on the map. So the blue line is the forecast trajectory of the rocket as it is right now, right? And that
Stage one,
changes. The gray
transonic.
is the target. There we go. Transonic.
Yeah, essentially the blue line is if the stage were to cut off its engine right now, it would follow that trajectory. So you want that line out of the surface of the Earth, because then the rocket will stay in space.
Yep. Maybe we will see now the drone ship camera, because it will be right now preparing for that landing burn.
Stage 2 is
And there we go.
There we go.
Landing burn now underway.
Stage 1 landing.
And
burn.
approaching the booster, the barge, the drone ship. Again, just read the instructions for a sixth time. It's gonna be tired of reading the instructions. There we go.
There we go.
Okay,
Used.
landing
Landing
burn
light
is
deploy.
definitely underway. And touchdown.
Stage 1
There we
landing
go.
confirmed.
Yeah,
Excellent.
it already
Zero
knows the
skills
instructions. This is the sixth time it launches and lands, and it's landing again on just read the instructions. There we go. So we were not able to see the booster point of view, but hey, we got the barge point of view, which is a nice
Back
sort
shutdown.
of consolation prize. and MVAC shutdown. There we go. Second stage and 29 Starlink satellites are now in orbit.
Nominal parking orbit insertion.
There we go. Nominal
Excellent.
parking orbit insertion. So after this, we're going to have another burn about 50 minutes from now of that second stage, and then they're going to be deploying those satellites. Unfortunately, we were not able to cover that because that's basically it for further coverage. But we'll always have updates on social media, nextspaceflight.com, etc., etc. In the meantime, we'll have the replays. There you can see already some of those. Carson putting those up quite quickly. And through the clouds.
Yeah, it didn't take very long.
But at least we got to see it. There was no fog.
Yeah, at least it's not like Vandenberg, right? Where you don't see the... yesterday I got flagged about this because it was a clear day at Vandenberg. And they launched out of there.
And it was
Yeah.
also clear when Alpha launched as well. So, to be fair.
True.
Yeah.
True. We cover that.
That was a gorgeous day.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Usually when it is clear, those launches tend to be very pretty.
Yeah, when conditions are right, Vandenberg launches are stunning. But
Yeah,
sometimes they're not.
like 1% of the time or something.
It's a very small percentage. Always, by law.
Oh? Who are those two?
I don't know.
You don't
Couldn't
know?
tell you.
There you go. So who lost the rocket first?
The clouds. The clouds did. Those pesky things.
I was gonna say, who loses the rocket first has to clean up. Oh, Odia.
Should be. Yep.
Can hear the clicking.
And she's gone.
Hey, at least the audio remains, which is not bad. That's the BB squeal.
It is. Very distinct.
Gone. Well, that was a nice launch. Now, I have a bit of support to clear because it came like right before launch. So I'm going to hit that. But also, I'm just going to say, Max, you clean up first.
We
Nah,
both
I'm
clean
joking.
up first. We both clean up first. I tell you what.
I'm just joking. I'm just trying for you to fight like cats with each other. Anyways, John Coaches gifted a Red Team membership. That's good because that means that's another person on the membership program. Somebody bought a tile shirt as well. That was cool, Mike. With a message on the store saying this tile shirt is awesome. It will be better if it could be silver in back, but that will be pretty hard to do, I guess. We just have to ask the people at the store and see if that's allowed or not allowed rather than possible, I guess. Oh, John again with another gifted Red Team membership, and Annette, hi Biteford, with a $30 super chat. That's a really generous support. Good morning, NSF nerds. Time to cheer again for another launch. Well, we definitely cheered. We definitely heard it. Unfortunately, we lost it like 20 seconds. But hey, those booster camera views, even though they lasted like 2 minutes, were really nice. I feel like that was probably our sort of blowback, right? Of praising the camera views from the booster, and then boom, we lost him after stage separation. Anyways, so one of the things that I was going to say is that we have more launches coming up. If you go to nextspaceflight.com, there's still more of these, and of course we're going to cover those whenever they come up. Remember, we also have a potential SLS rollout next Friday, and maybe more Starship testing out of Starbase. We'll see. But in any case, Marty, thanks for coming in here with commentary, of course.
Thanks for having me. This was a blast.
A blast off, definitely.
For sure, yeah.
And of course, thanks to Max as well out there in the field, and to Jerry as well.
Of course, pleasure as always, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to hang out with us on this bright and sunny Saturday morning. Good grief, words are hard. We were both up very early, but it is also Pi Day, so happy Pi Day to everyone who celebrates, I guess. And we will hopefully see you again very soon.
Yep, same for me as well. Good to have another stream under here, and wish everybody a good weekend.
Yeah, hopefully you two can get some rest before all of the activity in the next few weeks, because it's gonna be a little bit hard to be awake for all of the stuff that it's coming up. But in any case, I'm being Alex, of course. Well, I am Alex again, just like the Ryan outro, and we'll see you all on the next one. Thanks for watching, and until later, goodbye.
And here we go.
There's the deluge. Here's ignition.
Traveling up.
Did it just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, you know.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, that sure looks like a perfect world.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
We did have an observation. 343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly!
Bingo! Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my God.
Yikes, you bet. We don't need any more of these.